Hello, I'm Bruce Braden. I am the editor of You Will Say I Am No Christian, the Thomas Jefferson, John Adams correspondence on religion, morals, and values. Today, I'd like to read to you a letter from John Adams to Thomas Jefferson, June 28, 1812. Dear Sir, I know not what, unless it were the prophet of Tippecanoe, had turned my curiosity to inquiries after the metaphysical science of the Indians, their ecclesiastical establishments and theological theories. But your letter, written with all the accuracy, perspicuity, and elegance of your youth and middle age, as it has given me great satisfaction, deserves my best thanks. It has given me satisfaction because, while it has furnished me with information where all the knowledge is to be obtained that books afford, it has convinced me that I shall never know much more of the subject than I do now. As I have never aimed at making my collection of books upon this subject, I have none of those you abridged in so concise a manner. La Fatale, Adair, and Debris were known to me only by name. The various ingenuity which has been displayed in inventions of hypothesis to account for the original population of America, and the immensity of learning profusely expended to support them, have appeared to me for a longer time than I can precisely recollect. What the physicians call the literae nihil sanities, which means writings correcting nothing. Whether serpents' teeth were sown here and sprang up men, whether men and women dropped from the clouds upon this Atlantic island, whether the Almighty created them here or whether they emigrated from Europe, are questions of no moment to me to the present, or future happiness of man. Neither agriculture, commerce, manufactures, fisheries, science, literature, taste, religion, morals, nor any other good will be promoted or any evil averted by any discoveries that can be made in answer to these questions. The opinions of the Indians and their usages, as they are represented in your obliging letter of the 11th of June, appear to me to resemble the Platonizing Philo or the Philonizing Plato, more than the genuine system of Indianism. The philosophy both of Philo and Plato are at least as absurd. It is indeed less intelligible. Plato borrowed his doctrines from Oriental and Egyptian philosophers, for he had traveled both in India and Egypt. The Oriental philosophy, imitated and adopted in part, if not the whole, by Plato and Philo, was, number one God, the good. Number two, the ideas, the thoughts, the reason, the intellect, the logos, the ratio of God. Number three, matter, the universe, the production of the logos, or contemplations of God. This matter was the source of evil. Perhaps the three powers of Plato, Philo, and Egyptians and Indians cannot be distinctly made out from your account of the Indians, but the Great Spirit, the good, who is worshipped by the kings, sachems, and all the great men in their solemn festivals as the author, the parent of good. 2. The devil, or the source of evil. They are not metaphysicians enough as yet to suppose it, or at least to call it matter, like the wiseacres of antiquity, and like Frederick the Great, who has written a very silly essay on the origin of evil, in which he ascribes it all to matter, and this was an original discovery, as if this was an original discovery of his own. The watchmaker has in his head an idea of the system of a watch before he makes it. The mechanician of the universe had a complete idea of the universe before he made it. And this idea, this logos, was almighty, or at least powerful enough to produce the world, but it must be made of matter, which was eternal. For creation out of nothing was impossible, and matter was unmanageable. It would not and could not be fashioned into any system, without a large mixture of evil in it, for matter was essentially evil. The Indians are not metaphysicians enough to have discovered this idea, this logos, this intermediate power between good and evil, God and matter. But of the two powers, the good and the evil, they seem to have a full conviction. And what son or daughter of Adam and Eve has not? And we'll end the letter there for purposes of time and pick it up in the next reading. Again, I'm Bruce Braden, reading from Ye Will Say I Am No Christian, the Thomas Jefferson, John Adams letters on Christianity and religion.